We know that big changes like this often require bold leadership. And how did you guys guide your team through change, keeping everyone aligned?
We're coming out of a multi-million-dollar renovation, as you know, Anna, but big change can be really overwhelming for our team.
We launched something called Choose Your Own Adventure. Obviously, we gave it to PR to help with us to launch it, and it was one of the most successful campaigns that we have run. We had a group do a laser gun party and brought out the entire third floor. Whether it's been Lizzie and I or a team of 19, we really try and just have fun with everything that we're doing.
How you plan on continuing engaging with guests as well as the broader community where you live and work?
We're really excited about using the experience-driven market right now. Everyone wants to come and experience something that's unique to them, and we've got so many different opportunities to offer that.
We are a true community hub. The opportunities for storytelling are just endless.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Taking Flight podcast, where we sit down with visionary leaders to discuss their journey, their brands, and when they took flight. Joining us today is Lizzie, a Raudenbush area general manager at Sage Hospitality, and Megan Pierce, who is the director of sales and marketing at Sage Hospitality. And both of these lovely women oversee the amazing Curtis Hotel in Denver, Colorado, which has been a partner of ours. We were just thinking about it, 7 years or maybe even going on 8.
Yes, that's right.
And fun fact, I recently stayed at the Curtis, and you guys were kind enough to put me on the 13th floor. And I arrived late in the dark, walking through the Ghostbusters room. So it was great.
It's fine. It's fine.
Fine. Totally normal. But what a cool property. And I'm so excited to talk to you about it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We're so glad to be here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before we begin, just give us a little sense of your background. What have you been doing in your career and really what brought you to this point of your journey? Lizzie, why don't we start with you?
Okay, great. Yeah, so I started with a background in sales and marketing, so I've seen, everything. I understand the need for a well-told story. So over time as a sales leader, I found myself being drawn more and more to the operations side. And I really wanted to take the storytelling and really bring it to life. So after 10 years of working on sales and marketing for hotels and restaurants, I made the leap into becoming a GM. And it felt like a natural next step because it kind of is an opportunity to bring creativity and guest experience together.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've been a GM now for 4 years, and I'm an area general manager. So I oversee a couple different properties, and it's been a great ride.
Amazing. And you are an award-winning GM. I've seen you pick up a few trophies along the journey. How about you, Megan?
Yeah, I've been in the industry straight out of college. I came up in the catering sales realm and kind of was always given the advice that I really need to round out my career by learning group. And so I did that for a while, but needed some more creativity. And that's when the position of director of group sales came open at the Curtis. So I took that 6 years ago now when I was promoted to come over to the Curtis, and then promoted into the area director of sales and marketing when Lizzie was promoted. So her and I have been side by side since 2019.
Yep, that's right.
Fantastic. And so fun. Actually, really timely. Just this morning on our team call, we were talking about a lovely feature in the Knot that showed some of your meeting spaces. And that was very cool to see. And I said, I'm going to be talking to them later. So bringing it together. Okay,
that's right.
So for those who are unfamiliar with the Curtis, can you, and just one of you, give us a little overview of the property?
Sure. So the Curtis is a boutique style property branded by Hilton. We're located in downtown Denver, but what's really unique about us is that we're a themed property. So when you enter the building, you're walking through an RV, there's a ski chair in the lobby, and then each additional guest room floor is a different theme. So we really kind of surprise our guests at every turn with kind of what's on each floor. And then our event space is just as unique. We kind of offer that as the Curtis Playground. So it's just a really unique space. We really try and have a lot of fun. I think our tagline of unpack the unexpected is truly what we live by every single day, because everywhere you turn, it's just a fun, different little surprise, whether it's from us or from the decor. It
Mhm.
is certainly intentional to surprise our guests.
100%. I love the playfulness of the property, not to mention just how comfortable and amazing it is and your staff. Also, location wise, you guys are right in the center, right in the heart of everything, correct?
Yes, we are just 2 blocks from the 16th Street, which is the activation that downtown Denver has put a lot of efforts into. We're also right across from the Denver Center for Performing Arts. So a really nice location for guests to come in and kind of enjoy what downtown Denver has to offer.
Absolutely. And I've spent many days there also after outdoor retailer at the convention
Mm.
center, not too far from there.
Yeah, not
Okay.
far from the convention center.
Exactly. Okay, Lizzie, I have a question for you. So, the property has been through different transformations, right? We've been through them together for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are currently undergoing a transformation. And when those happen, we know that big changes like this often require bold leadership. Can you share with us, first of all, talk about some of the changes over the years, and then how did you guys guide your team through change, keeping everyone aligned?
Yeah, that is a really great question, and it's not easy, but it is a lot of fun. So, you're talking about our recent transformation. It's been all about launching a new era of play. So, we're coming out of a multi-million dollar renovation, as you know, Anna, but your listeners may not know. So, this included a top to bottom renovation of our guest rooms and our meeting space. And we're actually also doing our elevators, which is its own beast. But, as you said, big change can be really overwhelming for our team. And I've really focused this year on true transparency, constant communication with our team, reminding them the why behind why we're doing this. We're not just upgrading furniture or adding fresh coat of paint. We're really investing in creating a hotel and a space that guests will remember for years and want to tell their friends and family about. Um, we also make a point as a team to celebrate little wins along the way. I think that our team members, nothing is more difficult than a never-ending to-do list. So having those small wins along the way has helped keep everybody focused and energized around the bigger vision.
Yeah, that's very cool. I think starting with that why, like you mentioned, is so
Mm.
powerful to for alignment and also inspiration, right?
Yes, yes, agreed.
And I love the word you used earlier, storytelling.
Storytelling.
And
Mhm.
Megan, question for you is when you're repositioning the brand and telling the story of this new property, what would you say the role that storytelling plays in shaping how people experience the Curtis moving forward?
I think it's always the experience is part of, I think, how our guests come into the hotel. And what we want to tell is a story of your childhood. We never want anyone to take anything too serious. We want them to have fun, have an experience while they're here. And I think we're trying to put that through all the design. So when we went through with the design team, we asked the question of how did you get to the carpet that looks like a piece of candy? And they said it's, envision, we've all seen it, the piece where there's crayons kind of melting down the wall. And it was the exact theme that came out in the floor space. And I think what we want is people to tell the story of the Curtis. What are they experiencing when they're here? Do they walk into the lobby and just feel happy and stay happy is the tagline that we use at, with all of our outbound sales efforts, and kind of how we're describing the hotel. So I think just making sure that we provide a story for the guests to tell through their experience in staying at the Curtis.
That's so cool. And, this is probably for both of you. So we're talking about different ways to tell that story, right? And you've seen over the years, I mean, even thinking pre-COVID, at COVID, and post-COVID, that the media and influencer landscape has really changed and evolved over the years. How do you guys see that come to life in the hotel and or hospitality space? And then how do you decide which voices and which channels are really the best ways to amplify your story?
Go ahead, Meg. All you.
I think, well, one of our favorite stories that I think Lizzie and I love to tell, and it's one that's, I think, true to us because Lizzie and I were the only two sales team members remaining during COVID. We had to obviously let go of a lot of employees, as did a lot of other industries. And then we came back on and did everything we could. We fought tooth and nail to keep the doors open. And one of, I think, the most creative stories and what's really fun to us is we launched something called Choose Your Own Adventure. And guests could, I don't even know where the idea came from. It was, I don't know, something that Lizzie came up with quickly. But anyway, during the pandemic, we allowed people to choose their own adventure. And obviously, we gave it to PR to help with us to launch it. And it was one of the most successful campaigns that we have run. We had a group do a laser party, I think it was. We brought out the entire third floor, which has all of our event space. For maybe like 12 or 13 of them. There wasn't a lot because we had to be obviously socially distanced. But it was one of the things that I think was true to us because we were still trying to bring as much happiness as we could during a really, really dark time. And I think whether it's been Lizzie and I or a team of 19, we really try and just have fun with everything that we're doing. I think that was one of our favorite stories and maybe our most successful campaign, even though it was during the pandemic. But we just tried to make every different floor a different adventure. And it was so wildly successful. And I think one of our favorite stories to continue to tell even now.
That was such a fun campaign to work on. I remember that well, as does our team. You mentioned that's one of your favorites. That's also one of our favorites. That one of those travel and leisure articles lived.
Yes, it was. It was travel and leisure. It was so good. I think that story placement alone just brought in so much excitement from our team and from our home office, and everybody just really rallied around it. And it's something that, really only worked at the Curtis, and in partnership with Crowe PR, we were able to like elevate it and get the word out. And it booked, I think we ended up booking like between 10 and 15 different groups off of that package
Wow.
alone.
It's amazing. And not only was it a culmination of creativity, but you guys executed it so well. I mean, to your point, COVID was such a tough time and people could not see family and friends. And you created such a fun experience in an amazing property, at an amazing property, and executed it flawlessly. At least that's the perception for everyone who took part is you guys.
Thank
and
you.
leading the team through change and not losing sight of that experience for the guest.
Yes.
Okay. So this podcast, as you know, is called Taking Flight. I'd love to hear from both of you. Can you each give us an example of a time in your life? It could be personal, could be professional, leadership, family, whatever, where you felt like you really broke through the ceiling and took flight.
I am going to stick professional on this one, but I actually have two to share. So if you'll indulge me.
Please.
One of the biggest moments for me when I took flight was when I transitioned from sales into operations. I had obviously spent years selling experiences, but stepping into a role of actually delivering on those experiences was a different level of responsibility and leadership, and one that I was up for the challenge of. We go from kind of pitching the dream to then having to actually execute on the dream. So I had a different layer of understanding of what that meant. And then overseeing an entire team through floods and sold out hotels and everything in between. It's been, it's really pushed me to grow and to lead in a more bold way and becoming comfortable making difficult decisions. And then more recently, I've taken flight in a new way by leading the onboarding of all new general managers across the Sage Hospitality Hotel division. And this is a role that allows me to kind of pay it forward in a way. I love supporting and equipping our new leaders with the skills and the tools that they need as they step into their own big moments. And I'm like loving helping them navigate their first few weeks and sharing my own lessons that I've learned along the way, and just making sure they feel supported and energized. So that's been a really fun new way to take flight.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. And you talked about being comfortable with discomfort. That's such a powerful and underrated statement. I was actually talking about that and thinking about that this morning too. How about you, Megan?
I think mine is similar. I took the director of sales and marketing role here while Lizzie transitioned into the operation. And I think for, the years leading up to that, as I always had, I was always her right-hand man, and then I was standing on my own, as she kind of transitioned into a new role. And it was no longer that you had kind of that person to fall on. I mean, she's always been there to support me, but I was truly there making the decisions for the sales and marketing realm. And similar to what she went through is I'm now selling through floods, selling through renovations. I truly remember a time where there was a flood in the hotel and we went on with a site tour and just gave everyone galoshes and an umbrella and said, this is where we are right now. And we're going to work through it. We
It's
just try
fine.
and always remain like playful with it. And I think as I have transitioned into an area role and taking on a bigger team is now everything that I was doing, I am now trying to teach our team to do is, have fun with it, lead your people. And I think it's been interesting to watch the team grow and then try and lean into those people and step away from the selling, which was the complete opposite when I took this role and I was the only one selling during the pandemic as Lizzie transitioned. So it's been kind of selling through some of the hardships, but then also taking a step back and watching your team grow. And I think that's been a new challenge for me, but it's been so fun and so rewarding. And I think their success is my success. And I think that's just one of the biggest transitional periods in my career is that now you want the success for your people and no longer, kind of the goals you're chasing from a revenue standpoint.
Thank you for sharing that. And yes, that's very special to be able to have that feeling and the reward of training up others, of inspiring others, and seeing them thrive in a place that maybe you once were, whether it
Yeah.
was a year ago or a decade ago. It's very cool. Well, we've been on this call for 15 minutes and we have not talked about AI yet. So I'm just not sure how that's even possible. So let's shift gears just slightly, and we won't just dive into AI, of course. But the question I have is really about, thinking through guest engagement and brand relevance in a world that's driven by user-generated content, AI, social
Mhm.
trends, and short attention spans. How are you thinking about guest engagement in such a multiverse?
I mean, we embrace it. We love giving guests moments that are worth capturing. I think our design, both prior to the renovation and now, as we evolve into this new era of play, we have quirky design details and interactive elements that really encourage guests to interact with the brand and interact with our associates in a really unique to hotel way, which hopefully drives more and more user generated content, right? So I mean, we pay attention to trends. We don't chase them, but we ask ourselves, how can we put our twist on this? And we embrace them. I mean, I think that's what's going to keep us relevant. And we have such a fun and unique opportunity as we come out of the renovation to just embrace it, um, and move forward with the new era of play.
Very cool. And my final question is when you look ahead in this new era of play, is that what excites you most about the Curtis? Or is there anything else that really gets you, excited about the hotel, the property, hospitality in general, and how you plan on continuing engaging with guests as well as the broader community where you live and work?
Yeah, I think we can both kind of tag team the answer on this one that I am really excited about the themes that we have. The old themes that we had were so fun, but now we get to tell 14 new stories about every single theme that's going on in the hotel. And we want people to come and experience all of it. And that can be through repeat stays or stop on every floor while you're here. But I think there's so much that the Curtis has to offer. It's not just the guest rooms, it's the lobby experience, the lemonade stand, and it's all the things that I think kind of remind you of your childhood that make you happy and just kind of like, oh, I remember that, or I remember doing this with my grandma, or whatever that may be. But I just think there's so much story to be told, and we're just really getting started now that this renovation is complete. And I think we're really excited about getting that back out there and kind of using the experience driven market right now. Everyone wants to come and experience something that's unique to them. And we've got so many different opportunities to offer that, that we just want everyone to come and experience it for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, hit the nail on the head. I'm excited about how we continue to lean into being more than just a hotel. We are a true community hub. We have events and collaborations that feel really unique to us, and they're unexpected and fun every single week. As we come out of our renovation, I think to Megan's point, the operation or the opportunities for storytelling are just endless. And I'm excited to grow our community partnerships and continue to just be a true part of, the Denver fabric.
Love that so much. Okay, so for those who are now super excited to come stay at the Curtis Hotel, what is the best way to get in touch to book, whether it's rooms for themselves or, loved ones, or maybe even a group?
I'll go to our brand new website. The website has all the renovations, the new photos. It has a way to book rooms, to book our special offers, to book a wedding if you wish, to book an event. Thecurtis.com is really where all of the information lives about the hotel.
Amazing. Well, thank you both so much. It was so wonderful to see you. I look forward to seeing you in person again very soon and really appreciate sharing your wisdom, your tips, as well as just a little bit of a history and excitement for what's happening at the Curtis.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
for
much for having
inviting
us.
us, Anna, and for your team's ongoing support of our mission. You guys have been amazing and a true partner in all of this. So we appreciate you more than you know.
Thank you so. All right, for those of you who tuned in today, until next week with Anna Crowe and Crowe PR.